Okay, I'm back. I just finished that white patch and kind of did a little stitching down here too. So here I'm going to move on to the dark warm brown. I'm going to add some stitches here so that we can finish up that ear with the black. And then while I'm here, I did notice I do have holes. It's hard to see with this fabric because the fabric kind of blends in. So now I can't see them. You probably can from where you are. Oh, I need glasses. I know I need a stitch here. Oops. I just pulled up a bunch of fuzz. Alright, there's probably more in there that I am missing. Oh, I know there was some over here. So, like here, we can do... Oh, there may be more. I can't see. Okay, let's see. Do I need this color anymore? Possibly not. We'll go way over here with this. And now we're going to go back to the black. And I'm going to fill in the rest of this ear with that black. I'm using my long, messy stitches again for this section, for the ear. Oops, it's not what I wanted to do. Luckily I have more black ready to go, so I don't have to get that back on a needle. This edge can be kind of messy, like I said, but make sure you do cover that guideline so that it's not peeking through. Yeah, something like that. Except this string won't be here. Okay, so we can go ahead and start moving down here. I'm just gonna leave this here for a second because I need to use mostly gray, and also I noticed I have tons of holes up here. And now I can't see him again. It really highlights the importance of wearing your glasses and having good lighting. Where I have the camera is basically where my face usually is when I stitch. So I'm missing out on some details up here that I just cannot see. Okay, we are gonna move on. And basically I'm gonna fill this whole section with gray. and then come back in with this brown and black. So I would fill it in. You can either leave gaps or just, when you use those other colors, do them on top of the gray. Whatever is easiest for you. On the right side of the face, it's going to be the same. It's just kind of a mixture of gray, brown, and black stitches. Mostly gray. And I focused the black kind of on the edges of the shape. If you want, you can just do gray if you want. You don't have to add the other colors. Oh yeah, so I did the white down here. Can do that ahead of this or after it. I don't think it matters. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead with the brown now, and I'm just gonna add, really what I'm doing is I'm gonna look for holes, and I'm just gonna fill them in with brown. If you don't have any holes, then you could just, add it wherever. They're basically supposed to be spots. And again, you can add as many or as few as you like. Let's see. And you could just have them be like a single stitch like that, or you could double them up next to each other so they're like more dramatic as spots, if that makes sense, like more clumped together. I didn't really do like a pattern necessarily. It's just kind of wherever they ended up. Okay, we're basically going to do that same thing for the wing. It's going to be filled with gray on that side, and then we're going to come in at the spots and then come in with the black. Okay, so same thing with the black, except I did kind of focus the black more on the edge. So when you're adding like spots like this, make sure you don't get too regular. Like, see how these are starting to look a little regular in the sense that they're, well, I guess they're not equal distance, but if they were equal distance apart, they would start to look too unnatural or too natural. We're going for random. Okay. So we'll move back here since we never finished this. So basically, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add spots on here, concentrating them towards the bottom when possible, but we also want them to be random. Random, but not. So I'm going to start by just kind of going along the bottom. And making some of these taller than the others. If you want, you can just do this. You don't have to come back in and do the spots. So it'll essentially just kind of replicate this. But with just the darker brown and not the lighter brown in it. So I tried to come in and then maybe use like 2 stitches to make a spot, like a little clump. And then maybe we'll do one here. They're pretty small. There's not a lot of space here. So if you find it too tiny and you're just over it, then skip the spots. But you can still do some along this edge if you want. They're a little easier. Okay. So then I'm going to use this off-white again. And we are going to be filling in here. So from that chin area down. So you might find, as you're doing this filling, since I didn't really do much of an overlap here, remember? I kept talking about overlapping the guideline. I didn't really do a lot of that here. So as I come out through these previous stitches, I'm kind of covering them up quite a bit. And I think it's okay, actually. I mean, if you do it and you decide that you covered up too much, you can go back in with some black and add that on top. So that back and forth we can do. So when I filled the body, I did the white first, or off-white, and then I did the black spots. So when I did the white, I left spot. When I did the white, I left space for those black spots. I did some overlap like this. So you start filling in like this. So I will say, pause before you get to the leaves. So I'm gonna finish this, and then I will talk about the leaves since I'm on a roll here. You can see this part is pretty time consuming. Okay, before I run out of this thread, I'm gonna do a little highlight back up here on the eye, just a tiny little stitch, loop. So don't forget. Oh, where? What on earth? It disappeared, and I took my thread off my needle when I went through because there wasn't much left. It just got sucked into like the void. All right. I guess I'm gonna have to get more thread after all. You can do this with a single strand or two, like I'm doing, but apparently you have to make sure it won't get sucked into the void. I'm gonna have to watch that on repeat and see what on earth just happened. Okay. Yeah? No void sucking. Okay. Let's see. Let's do the black, I guess. Oh, no, I was going to talk about the leaves. Okay. So, for the leaves, there's like some overlap happening, obviously. So what I did was whenever there was an overlap, I would outline the leaf first before filling with satin stitch. I'm not going to demonstrate that on camera. But I'm going to describe where the outlines happen. So any place a leaf is overlapping somewhere else, you outline it. So for this leaf, I would outline this here because it's overlapping this leaf, this owl, this leaf, this owl, this leaf. So pretty much the whole thing. Like over here, you wouldn't have to outline, but you still can. For this leaf, we would outline this edge and this edge where it overlaps the owl, right? But we don't want to overlap here or outline here because it's underlapped, if that's a word. So this should look like it's on top, right? So you kind of have to go through and figure out, okay, where do I want to outline? I'll probably make a diagram to make it a little easier. But what I did is I did the outline and then I stitched up to the outline and then I actually did the satin stitch. So before I stitched this part of the owl, I went in here and like did all these outlines. Didn't fill them, just did the outlines. And that was just to help me get my owl stitches up to that edge so that then when I did my satin stitches, I'm covering the outline and I'm getting right up to the edge where I left off stitching the owl, so that for two reasons. So there's no gap here where there's no stitches, and also so that the leaves look like they are above the owl. So that was the method and reasoning for that. Okay, so for my owl here, we're gonna do, so what I did is I filled in all the white first, which took forever. And then I came in and did the black splotches. So the black splotches, like up towards the neck, they're kind of like merged together. So you can't really tell what they are. that white fuzz if you have light fuzz like me. It's gonna make your black not look as dark. Yeah, so filling in these spots once I have the surrounding white filled in. I'm going to head off to the left over here because we will do our wing with the black here soon. And then to finish up all those little spots, I came in with my gray and just kind of did like a shadow kind of on the bottom half of them. Something like that. Oops. Oh, sad. Do I have more gray ready? No. Also sad. Let's see. So underneath all these, it's like a drop shadow basically, but it's a lighter color, so it's not even a shadow. Something like that. We can even go on the side of it. Okay. Like so. And then, let's see what else. So as far as that, the wing goes, it's basically, you can see if you look at that versus what we did here, it's pretty much the same thing. So I filled in with the gray and transitioned to black, and then I added some of the brown spots on top. So it's kind of a mix between this and this. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that, because apparently I'm not going to demonstrate it. It looks like I'm done. But I do have a couple more things. Okay, so we have these little spotty spots. If you can totally skip those. You don't have to do those. Or you can come in and it's just that lighter brown again. And I did it just right on top of the off-white. And they're just really, really tiny vertical stitches in like a horizontal row like this. And you could do as many as you want. You could do none. You can do just single stitches to make tiny little spots, or you can make them in clumps, or you can make them in lines like I did. But I just did them right on top of that white, or off-white, whatever we want to call it. Okay, and then the last thing, I'm going to go ahead and use this color to add that shadow to the eyes, but I'm definitely just going to use a single strand. So when I did it on my sample hoop, I actually used the variegated color. So the kind of yellow variegated color. This one, I basically, where I had a cut of it, I would use this more orange color, a single strand of it, to make that highlight. And you could do that, or I think this is gonna look fine too. Let's try. So I just kind of came in and added some stitches towards the top of that yellow. Oops, I've got some tangles. No surprise. Oh, come on. We're almost done. We don't need you. Ugh. Okay. Oh yeah, see, that works too. I guess it depends on how dramatic you want them to be. Something like that. Yeah. So here's to compare this one. You can see I used more of an orange, so it's basically like this part of that variegated floss. If you want it even more dramatic, you could use some of the red variegated in there just to kind of add those, not highlights, dark lights, shadows. That would be a shadow. And then here you can see the little stripes I made. And again, just a look at this wing that I'm just tired now. Here's, from black, I did stitch directions this way. And it's just from gray to black. And it's spotty, right? Like it's, obviously I'm not trying to make a really smooth transition, and then came in and add some extra spots of that brown. So you can do it. I can definitely see, it looks like I did, when I did the sample hoop, I probably did this brown and then the white and then the black on top. Versus here you can see a difference because I did the white on top of the black here. Is one better than the other? I don't know. Actually, it looks like I did the white on top of black here and the black on top of white here. So there you go. I did some back and forth, and if you're looking at yours and you see some inconsistency like that, you can always go back in and add more of one color or the other. I don't know. For me, I make it consistently inconsistent and just have back and forth, whatever. So, okay, I think that's it. I hope you have fun. Feel free to reach out and send me an email if you have any questions. I'm always happy to help. Take care.